Merry Christmas! Let's talk about some brand new movies! First up is Freaky. This movie stars Vince Vaughn and Catherine Newton. And to describe the basic premise of this movie, I should say the original name of this movie, which they didn't use for copyright reasons, which is Freaky Friday the 13th. So it's a Freaky Friday situation where this teenage girl swaps body with the Friday the 13th aspect of this movie is a grown adult male serial killer. So there's a serial killer in a teenage girl's body and a teenage girl in a serial killer body. And it's great. It's really, really funny. I enjoyed the hell out of this movie. Like I said, it's funny, it's got great heart, and it's got some really, really solid kills, which is something you really want in a horror comedy thing. It's good. I recommend the hell out of this movie. Yeah, if you're a fan of horror movies or if you're a fan of horror comedies, it's going to be right up your alley. I will say, though, it does kind of rely a bit too much on cliches, like horror movie cliches, also just like high school kid cliches, and that kind of got like a bit tiresome near the beginning. But once like the actual body swap thing happened, everything kind of like really opened up. And my favorite scene, I'm not going to say what happens in it, but if you've seen the movie, it's the scene where Vince Vaughn is in the back of a car and then some stuff happens, and it's really funny. And honestly, Vince Vaughn does such a great job as being a teenage girl. He nails it. And going off of Jack Black in Jumanji, I really like this trend of grown-ass adult men pretending to be teenage girls. It's really funny. I like this new genre of film. But yeah, so this movie's great. Recommend the hell out of it. It's good fun times. Next up is Black Bear. This movie stars Audrey Plaza, Sarah Gadon, and Christopher Abbott, my fourth one of him. And the basic premise of this movie, I can't really tell you. This movie's so up for interpretation. People kind of have like a general agreement of what this movie's about, but it's getting into more of the specifics, like what the symbolism is and stuff, and just kind of like what really is going on. And it's really interesting. If I absolutely had to like boil down what I think this movie is about, I would say it's about writer's block. But honestly, you could watch this movie and interpret it in a very, very different way. It kind of a little bit reminds me of, but it's definitely different than I'm Thinking of Ending Things, because that movie is just kind of bonkers and all crazy. This movie definitely has its crazy parts where you're just kind of like, wait, what's going on? In the moment, you definitely feel like you have a good understanding of what's going on in this moment, of what's happening in this chapter of the movie. But when actually kind of bringing it all together to really understand what it is, you don't get those definitive answers, which I think really works for this movie. So there's definitely some movies where like you need answers to fully kind of appreciate the movie. But this one doesn't give you answers, and I think that works really, really well. So yeah, I really like this movie. And I would say if you give the trailer a watch, and if that looks intriguing to you, watch it. But this movie's definitely not for everyone. Because again, it doesn't give you answers. It doesn't give you that satisfaction of, okay, this is definitively what's going on. It's for you to kind of figure out. I feel like the cast, there were some interviews with the cast where they're just like, they have different interpretations of it. And so yeah, that's really interesting. So yeah, I liked it. Not for everyone, but yeah, I really liked it. Yeah. And lastly is WW84. So this movie stars Gal Gadot, Chris Pine, Kristen Wiig, and Pedro Pascal. I was real hyped about this movie going into it. I remember enjoying the first one. And then when we found out that it was coming out on Christmas to HBO Max, my family got really excited. They're like, yeah, we're going to watch this on Christmas Day. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. We can do that. So I got to watch this with my whole family, which is probably the thing I enjoyed most about this movie. Is just that I was able to share this interesting experience with them. If you like this movie, all the more power to you. I thought it was okay-ish. It was just interesting. I have a lot of thoughts and feelings on this. I'm gonna try to keep this short, but yeah. Firstly, this movie is just way too long. Like, I definitely felt that 2.5 hour runtime. And it just felt like they were just taking their time with things I don't know why they were taking their time with things. Like, we quickly established that, like, oh, this wishing stone, you make it, you hold it, you make a wish for it, wish comes true instantly. That guy wanted, he said, I wish for a coffee, he got a coffee. That was funny. But then, like, Gal Gadot wishes for Chris Pine to come back, and then it's like 20 minutes go by, and then he shows up. And I get it, he was, like, you know, creepily stalking her or something, I guess, but it's just like, we all know that Chris Pine is going to show up. Just get him there. Just get him there already. I don't know, man. And that first hour, we had to stop it after the first hour because my mom needed to put the turkey in the oven. And it's like, I was thinking back, okay, what happened in this first hour? It's like, well, we had, I guess, 2 action scenes. There was that mall fight scene, and then there was the opening challenge course scene, which really isn't a fight scene. I guess it's an action scene, but it's not really a fight scene. Also, I just didn't like that in general, because it's like, and here's the moral of the movie. And I was like, okay. And then this was the moral of the movie. I'm glad you laid it out for me in the first 10 minutes so that I understand what the next 2 hours and 20 minutes is all about. I don't know. Yeah, okay, I'm going to stop talking about the story. Well, no, okay, my brother almost immediately, Justin, was like, oh, this kind of sounds like the premise for Wishmaster. And I looked it up, and I'm like, yeah, this does sound like the premise for Wishmaster, except Wishmaster sounds better. They at least do more interesting things. They have clear motives for why people are doing stuff. Whereas here, it's just like, well, first, Pedro Pascal wants, you know, a successful business, but then he just keeps taking more and more power because greed, I guess, maybe? I don't know. I don't know. Or, like, even the wishing stone thing itself was confusing to me, because, like, there's a cost to magic. There's always a cost to magic. That makes perfect sense. I totally understand that. So, when Kristen Wiig asked to be as powerful and beautiful as Diana, she started to lose her power and stuff. And I'm like, oh, okay, that was the cost of her wish, she just is stealing that power from her. And then, like, she turns evil because absolute power corrupts absolutely. That's such a common thing. So that makes total sense that she just got kind of power hungry and just didn't want to lose what she got. So that's why she's evil. But no, Gal Gadot lost her powers because she wished for Chris Pine to come back. And Kristen Wiig lost her humanity. That's what the cost of her wish was. So, which I also just don't get, because, like, I thought the cost of Chris Pine coming back was this random person just lost his life. This random dude just lost his life. So for her wish, she lost 2 things. She lost her powers, and this random guy just lost his life. Why does she, like, double down on the dick thing, whereas, like, everyone else just kind of vaguely loses, like, their morals and stuff? Like, I don't get that. I don't know, man. I don't know. There was also just not great CGI. I didn't care about any of the fight scenes. Also, it was randomly 4th of July, just so they could fly through the fireworks. Also, how did he not know what escalators are or subways are? Chris Pine should know what those things are. Also, how did he know how to fly a jet? That was really weird. There's lots of weird inconsistencies that also my parents, who aren't really observant, pointed out, and that was really funny. Also, the acting. Wow, this was interesting acting. I thought Pedro Pascal did a great job of being over the top and ridiculous, but he didn't really have anywhere to go with it. Kristen Wiig wasn't really allowed to be that funny, even though she is very, very funny. Chris Pine was just there to be hot. He didn't really do anything, and that was kind of sad. And then there's Gal Gadot. Why is she Wonder Woman? I know the answer to that. It's because she is ridiculously gorgeous. This poster, by the way, is amazing. This poster is way better than the movie is. It's because she's a gorgeous supermodel. That's why she is Wonder Woman. But she is not a good actor, and this movie definitely highlighted why she is not a good actor. Again, if you like this movie, all the more power to you, but she is... Like, I also just don't like her as Wonder Woman. Again, she is gorgeous, but, like, she is just this tiny stick figure of a person. And even, like, real athletic women who are, you know, the peak of their physical being, doing all these great, powerful things, they're physical, you know, Olympians, they have a bigger body than her. So, like, it would make more sense to have a woman who has a more realistic body as, like, the big role model for all these little girls, rather than just, like, this stick figure of a person who is not a good actor. She's just there to be gorgeous. And she does a good job of being gorgeous. Even when she's supposed to get kind of beat up and stuff, or when she's having emotional scenes, she's still just like perfectly flawless. And I was like, every single time she had an emotional scene, I'm just like, what is this? What are you doing? You're just like, I'm glad your makeup is beyond perfection right now. Great, cool, good job. So happy for you. So yeah, so as much as I'm ragging on this movie, as much as I went on for so long, I didn't hate this movie. I thought it was okay. Yeah, and if you like it, cool. I'm happy for you. I didn't.